Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Chaffee. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes, as we kind of struggle in most areas to get even a little bit of improvement. You can see on the satellite loop, there are a lot of clouds. However, just want to point out that there are a few exceptions here, and that's actually impacting the temperatures. If you notice, there's this little dry area that has pushed up into south central Pennsylvania and into Maryland and northeastern Virginia. You're seeing some sunshine there. However, just bear in mind that these clouds up to the north, well, they're kind of rotating southeastward. So you may start to see some of those clouds roll in. In the meantime, everywhere else is dealing with a fairly solid overcast. And at least we don't have any low clouds and fog and drizzle and the rain from yesterday and from overnight and the thunderstorms that were scattered around. That's all gone. Now, we also have, and we want to point out that you see all these clouds shooting up from the Pacific and into Texas and into the Gulf states. And this is going to be our next weather system. But the good news is that it is going to be taking a track to the east. Thanks to this low that's up to the north, it's just going to pretty much prevent it from moving northward. So it's going to push it out to the east, and it might bring rain maybe as far north as Northern Virginia or Maryland as we move into, say, later Tuesday night, Wednesday. But as far as bringing that precip all the way up into southern New England and points north, that is not going to happen. In the meantime, on the radar this afternoon, actually in upstate New York and extending down into parts of north central Pennsylvania, we do see some rain today, and there's some colder air around, and that's producing some snow in Maine. And you can see that on the radar as well. You're going to probably see some of that colder air come in to this area in upstate New York and change some of that rain over to some wet snow, but we don't expect it to amount to much. But this at least illustrates the fact that we're still under the influence of the weather system that we've been dealing with over the weekend, starting with the warm front, and now we're kind of waiting for all of this to get out of the way. You can see that we have a rather busy surface map. Low pressure is southeast of Cape Cod. There's a second dying front out to our west, and then a stronger front behind that, and that has some colder air behind it in the northern lakes. So all of this really playing through because of the fact that we have the upper air representation of this just kind of sitting here now in the northeast. And the other thing is that it's moving very, very slowly. We have this blocking pattern that is set up in the atmosphere, and as a result, everything has really slowed down a lot. So for the rest of today, it really is going to impact your temperatures. Your highs are going to depend on whether the sun can poke through. Now, in areas where it has, we're already up into the 60s. And in fact, we could see middle to upper 60s in parts of Maryland down into northeastern Virginia and even some lower 70s. And we might even see 60s reach into southern New Jersey. But once you go further north, say go from Allentown north and east toward New York City and eventually up toward Bridgeport and Hartford, here we're looking at temperatures that are going to be pretty much struggling to get out of the 40s today. Maybe with a little luck, if there could be some brightening of skies. It doesn't take very much this time of year to boost temperatures up, but it really is going to be a tough sell based on the satellite. At least it looks like for most of this area, there are no rain issues. Now, for Tuesday, we are going to get behind that weather, that cold front, and get into some cooler air. So you can see the highs are going to be lower, middle and upper 40s. Now you could look at this and say, well, that's really kind of what we have today, at least from New York City, north and east. But it will be cooler for areas in southern New Jersey, southern Pennsylvania, and points south, where we will see temperatures probably being about 10 degrees lower. And then Wednesday, with low pressure passing by to our south, it's going to be more like upper 40s and low 50s for highs, and that cooler air, I think, is likely to remain through Wednesday night. And maybe we'll get a little bit of a bounce coming back on Thursday as we have more sunshine, and that'll take temperatures up into the 50s. And Friday, pretty much the same story. I think we'll see temperatures being taken up into the 50s. Now, let's look at what the NAM is doing here so we can get this. The problem is this first system tries to get out of the way, and really to a certain extent it doesn't. The next one gets shoved to the south, so we're going to kind of hold this onshore flow over the next couple of days. So I think we'll probably have some cloud issues to deal with on Tuesday and again on Wednesday, and that is also going to be a factor in holding temperatures down. The rain with the low coming out of the southern plains moves off the North Carolina coast and out. Maybe there's a little bit of wet snow there in some of the higher elevations, the higher elevations in northwestern Virginia or West Virginia. Just nothing that really amounts to very much. And then here's where I think we get into a couple of nice days Thursday and Friday, although you'll notice that there's a low out offshore. Might be a little bit breezy and again a bit on the cool side, but if we can manage some sunshine out of this, we could see temperatures rebound a little bit Wednesday into Thursday. And as far as the longer range outlook is concerned, uh, we uh, we have a very interesting pattern in the fact that we've got this blocking pattern that is set up. And in the wintertime, a blocking pattern can often means cold and snowy in the Northeast down into the mid-Atlantic states. In the springtime, when you want to get into some sunshine and warm weather, it can mean days with lots of clouds and sometimes dealing with showers. Looks like the next chance of any important shower activity might come over the weekend with a weak weather front moving through on Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then later next week, we'll have to see if maybe something more important might shape up as far as a storm system is concerned. So for the rest of today, folks, it is better than yesterday, but again, clouds an issue in most places, not all. If you're in southern Pennsylvania, down into Maryland and Northeast Virginia, you've got some sunshine and your temperatures are responding. If you're north and east and you move up toward New York City and head toward southern New England, you're kind of socked in with clouds for the rest of the day. So have a great afternoon, social distancing. Make sure you're still practicing it. And we'll see you tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show with my colleague Joe Rayo at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on my YouTube channel, which is Joe Chaffee.